Hello and welcome to Grammar Class. Today's topic is the simple past or the past indefinite tense.
As you know, we identify the tense from the structure of the verb. The simple past tense has two structures. For the affirmative or positive sentence, it is the second form of the verb. We know that a verb has 5 forms, and in simple past tense, we use the second form of the verb if the sentence is affirmative or positive. Now take some examples of the simple past tense in affirmative or positive sentences. John wrote a letter. Here wrote is the second form of the verb write. So it is simple past tense. Similarly, he took a cup of tea. In this sentence also, took is the second form of the verb take. So took is also in simple past tense. In the third sentence, the police arrested him last year. Arrested is the second form of the verb arrest. So it is simple past tense. And in the last sentence, it rained heavily yesterday. Rained is the second form of the verb rain. So it's in past indefinite tense as well. But for the negative sentence, the simple past has a different structure. It is did not plus the first form or the base form of the verb. Make no mistake, in the negative sentence, we use did not plus the first form of the verb and not the second form. Now here are some examples of the simple past tense in negative sentences. It did not rain yesterday. Did not rain. Did not plus the first form of the verb rain. John did not go to school last week. Did not plus the base form of the verb go. I did not sleep well last night. Did not plus the first form of the verb sleep is in simple past tense. He did not have a happy childhood. Did not plus the first form of the verb have is simple past tense. So in these 4 negative sentences, the verbs did not rain, did not go, did not sleep and did not have are in simple past tense. Do notice here that we use the first form or the base form of the verb after did not in the negative sentences of simple past tense. We cannot use the second form of the verb after did not. But how to use the simple past tense in
Interrogative sentences.
We put the auxiliary verb did before the subject and the first form of the verb or the base form of the verb after the subject in simple past tense
In interrogative sentences.
Now see some examples on your screen. Did you go to office yesterday? Here the auxiliary verb did comes before the subjective and go in the first form comes after the subject. Why did you not come to my party? Here did comes before the subject and the main verb come after the subject. How did he die so young? Here also the helping verb did comes before the subject he and the main verb die in the first form after the subject. Did you not tell a lie? Did comes before the subject you and tell in the first form after the subject. So I repeat that in simple past tense,
In interrogative sentences,
the auxiliary verb did comes before the subject and the main verb in the first form comes after the subject. Make sure that you don't use the second form of the main verb with did in either negative or
interrogative sentences.
remember the second form is used only in affirmative or positive sentences in simple past tense. Now let's see how verb be is used in simple past tense. Verb be is a state verb. It's not an action verb. It has 2 forms in simple past tense, was and were. Tina was very happy on her birthday. You were very sick last week. Yesterday's match was not enjoyable. In these sentences, was and were are in simple past tense. Well, now that we know all about the structures of the simple past tense, let's see how the simple past tense is used. What does it show? The simple past shows a completed action of the past or a regular or habitual past activity or an imaginary or wishful condition or action. In other words, the simple past tense shows three types of action. Number one, a completed action of the past. Two, a regular past habit. Three, an imaginary or wishful action. Now let me give you examples of these three different uses of the simple past tense. He returned home at 7 pm. We visited the Taj last year. Here, returned and visited are in the second form, so they are in simple past tense. What do they show? That the act of returning home was completed in the past. The act of visiting the Taj Mahal was also completed in the past. In these sentences, we have at 7 pm and last year as past time references or adverbials. They show that these activities were completed in the past. Now see how the simple past tense shows a regular past habit. He took exercise in his youth. Here took is the second form of take, so it's simple past tense. It shows someone's past habit of taking exercise daily. I lived in Simla for 10 years. Here lived is the second form of live, so it's simple past tense. It shows that I lived there for a long time. It shows a prolonged past activity. So here took and lived are in simple past tense and they show regular or habitual past activities. And then the past indefinite tense also shows imaginary or wishful action or condition that is unrealistic or that is unlikely to come true. For example, I wish I knew the answer. Here knew is in the second form of know, so it's a simple past tense. It shows my wish to know the answer, though I do not know the answer. If I had wings, I could fly. Here had is in simple past tense, so it shows my wishful thinking that is unlikely to come true. I know in reality I don't have wings, so I cannot fly, but I can wish to have wings and fly, but my wish is unlikely to come true. So to express such imaginary or wishful thinking, the simple past tense is used. No other tense is appropriate in such cases. Well, up next is the use of simple past tense in passive voice. How to use the simple past tense in passive voice? In passive voice, the simple past tense has a different structure. It is was or were and the third form or the past participle of the main verb. We use the auxiliary verb was or were according to the subject and then the third form of the main verb in simple past tense, passive voice. So clearly in active voice and passive voice, the simple past has absolutely dissimilar structures. See some examples of the simple past tense in passive voice. A meeting was held yesterday. Here was and the third form of the verb hold. Was held is in passive voice, simple past tense. The room was cleaned by the maid. Was and the third form of the verb clean. Was cleaned is in simple past tense, passive voice. In the same way, clothes were distributed among the poor. Were distributed in simple past tense, passive voice. Trees were cut down recklessly. Were cut down in simple past tense, passive voice.
And then in the interrogative sentence,
was the match cancelled due to rain? The auxiliary verb was and the third form of the verb cancel. Was cancelled is in simple past tense, passive voice. So from the structure was or were plus the third form of the verb, we identify the passive voice of the simple past tense and we understand that in passive voice the subject is the receiver of the action and not the doer of the action denoted in the verb. Now about strong verbs and weak verbs in English grammar. If the second form of a verb is made with a change of stem vowel or root vowel in the verb, like run to ran, eat to ate, fly to flew, etc., these verbs are called strong verbs or irregular verbs. On the other hand, if the second form is made by adding d or ed or t to the base form of the verb, it is called a weak verb or regular verb. For example, walk to walked, sleep to slept, play to played, and so on. Well, last but not the least, please do not use the second form of the verb after did not.
In negative or interrogative sentences in simple past tense.
He did not eat is wrong. It will be he did not eat. The first form will come after did not. In the same way, do not use was or were before the second form in positive sentences. He was died is wrong. It will be he died. That's it. If you liked the video, please do subscribe to my channel and press the notification bell for more grammar videos. Thank you so much for watching the video till the end.